Happy Thursday. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Happy Thursday to you, sister.
Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Rose Garden. I can't, your positioning is way off today. Like, I can't see
Is
your,
it?
yeah.
That's funny.
There you go. I can see you now. There's your face. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What about you?
My gosh, it's been a wonderful week so far, but a busy week.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's been a wonderful week and a busy week, but I'm happy that I'm here with you.
That's good to hear, sister.
So I don't think that
Likewise.
our stream is going to our Instagram because we had to stop it and shut down. So I don't.
Yeah, that happened. So it broke all down. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know
it
what's
broke
up
down.
with it.
So we'll have to figure that out next week. But welcome,
My
everybody.
God, man, I don't understand what the fuck. Hold on for a second, sister. It's
That
crazy, man.
technology got our tech person upset at it. So we don't want to make our tech person upset. But for those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Syretta, the one half of a dynamic sibling duo. And my brother and I come together every Thursday to meet in the Bread and the Rose Garden to talk about all things that are important to us and hopefully those things that are important to you. This is the safest space. And we want to invite you back to join us and be with us. And brother, boy, do I got stuff to download and tell you
Tell me, I'm all ears. I can't wait to hear.
because I know you don't watch the news because we not watching real time. But what did you think of the Puffy verdict? What was your thoughts?
Well, I knew it everything that I thought was gonna happen, it occurred exactly what I thought was gonna occur.
You
So,
did.
I knew he wasn't gonna get hit for that RICO
Why?
because from the evidence that they presented thus far, and it's funny because that Eastern District or whatever the people are,
Right. Are
that
very
South District or
successful.
whatever, they usually are successful. But I think what they probably was banking on is that, because of their reputation, that people when they get into that position, they just plead guilty. They just cave, right? But Puffy, first of all, I think that this situation probably has tarnished his image, though. You know what I mean?
Well, I
What
think
do you think?
there was a woman on TV who said there's a lot of people who've been in these situations and that they know how to kind of rally a comeback party. So we can't count them out. I was just surprised that I think I was surprised about maybe not the Rico part, but definitely the trafficking part I was surprised about. But you know, he certainly got lucky. And I think it
Yes.
highlights what you can do when you have a really dream team of litigators around you. Because boy, did he have a Hollywood cast of lawyers helping him out. But yeah, the
But it's not over with yet, though, right? Because don't they have to? He got to go back to sentencing and stuff too.
right. But I mean, aren't you signed a breathing a sigh of release that the most severe charges didn't get convicted? I think I'd be breathing a sigh of release.
Yeah,
Not
no
that
doubt.
nobody wants to be sitting in jail, but there is at least a deep breath being taken.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That he can be like, look, I ain't gonna get life for this.
Right, right. That's a win, if nothing more.
Well, I'm trying to send um our guest a link because he's claiming he didn't get the email. So I'm trying to share that with him presently.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while you're doing that, then I got more juicy gossip. Boy, did we have a time this week. You know, your niece was in the transfer portal. So people who are doing this NCAA madness, that transfer portal is not for the week. And by the end of June, you had to have signed your scholarships and things like that. So by June 30th, we were all kind of biting our nails and gritting on the chalkboard trying to figure out what was going to happen. And she got some fantastic news. But boy, did we learn a lot that she is going to be going to another school and she did get picked up. But did we learn a lot about this transfer portal madness? And for folks who think it's for the weak, it's not for the weak. And you have to know the risks. So I don't think we understood the risk fully when we were going in it. But it's kind of like high risk, high reward because she certainly got picked up to a school that she is happy about and in a better place. We also got the disappointment of being like, well, we don't want to welcome you back to the team that she was leaving.
They don't want to welcome her back.
Yeah, so evidently it's
What does that mean?
guaranteed. It's not guaranteed if you go into the portal that you will keep your scholarship, even though if that's the language that the coaches are saying when you let them know, there's no guarantee. And so We were kind
Wow.
yes, so we were kinda shocked to learn that, that the school had decided her original school had decided not to kinda follow through with giving her the scholarship, even though that was a different conversation that we had when we first entered the portal. Nonetheless, it's all good. It all worked out. Mom and dad survived. And I learned the interesting part about myself is like when your kids are going through something, how traumatizing it is for you. Cause literally think from 29th to July 1st, I probably got 3 hours of sleep.
Well, what was the end state outcome? She ended up going to another
She's going
school?
to another school. She doesn't
Wow.
so she did get picked up. She's going to another school. She's on another team. It's the school she wanted to go to. So it's all a win for us. But it's a lot of lessons and with this new name and likeness and all these like new rulings, it changes like the dynamics of the what the schools can do too, how many people they can have on their rosters. So we were kind of mixed up in all of that confusion, which honestly, I do not profess to fully understand myself. I'm so thankful that her father was there to kind of help guide her through some of this stuff because I didn't understand it, but I certainly experienced it. The experiencing part was the hard part. Is our guest still having some technical issues?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we're gonna just keep flowing then, and then if we gotta reschedule, we gotta reschedule because I'm getting tired of looking at the back of the side of your face. Even though I got to look a lot of your side of your face because we had our breadcrumbs photo shoot this weekend. How'd you feel?
I can't really speak on feeling any kind of way. It was a cool experience though.
What you mean you can't speak on feel? Like we have never. I don't remember taking family pictures with you. Like no, we did to take family pictures like what when the kids were little, but remember we all got together and take family, but as
Yeah, yeah, I think we did it one time, right?
we did
No,
it
well,
one
I
time.
mean, maybe we did it more than once because I think I have some pictures when the Shia was little.
Yes, we did before.
Yeah, I have it
we have
there.
stages of our generations because there was Shia was little, and then we started having kids, so then our kids were on it, and then now it's just me and you. So I had a really good time, and I taught you something. What did I teach you? I gave you some really good.
What you believe that you taught me?
What do you mean?
What
What
you
did I
think?
believe?
What you think? What you?
I taught you something about being camera ready. What was it?
I have no clue. You tell me.
Oh my goodness. I taught you how to use the blotting papers to take all that oil off your face if you didn't know. And it works really, really well. So you're gonna be popping on camera, right? And I gave you some, I made sure the bald head wasn't shiny. So I did all that good stuff.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
Thanks to your sister. Do you feel blessed and honored to have had this lesson about photography? Who knew you could have little blotting papers to take your oil off your face? Clearly you didn't enjoy it as much as I did.
You did? You enjoyed it? What you like about it?
Did. I like
What
I like
did you enjoy the
how
most?
nervous you are, and, like, I learned something about you. I'm like, "He's a little nervous." Like, we were doing some of the more action poses, and you were, like, stiff at first, but then you got unstiff. It was cool. I love seeing that about you, you know?
I didn't feel no nerves or nothing like that like you usually feel. I didn't feel nervous.
Okay,
But I
so
guess I'm not used to being in and getting photographed like that and stuff, so it's a different experience. But like you said, I've done it before, but I guess in that context it was a bit, unique for me.
yeah, it was, and I have to say this, you got more relaxed as the shoot went on, you know? Now,
Mhm.
help me understand what is the default mean mug that men, especially Black dudes, do? Like, you have such an awesome smile, but you went to this default mean mug. Why?
I don't know what you mean. You talking about my regular face, my regular affect?
Yeah,
Man, I
when
wasn't
we were
trying to do a mean mug.
not like, but when we're smiling, we had to be like, I'm like, you have actually very white teeth and very straight teeth,
Mhm.
but you don't look at you now. You just did that smile. Like when I smile, I give all these beaming white teeth. You were
Well,
like,
you know what? When I smile, I don't really be paying attention to how I smile. I just do what comes natural. So if I smile in a way and it's showing teeth, then that's because it's you. That's how I'm feeling in the moment. If I don't, it's just how I'm feeling. But I don't really think about how I'm doing it. I just do it. you know?
So it's like this, but when you're taking pictures, it's always like this like natural, like instead of like, show us your teeth, like you have really good
Right,
teeth
right, right.
and you have a really good relaxed face and smile. So I had a ton of
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
oh,
Hey,
you
appreciate that.
finally did make it. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
You
good
made it. You
afternoon. Peace and blessings, brother. I never got the link because my email is blocked because I've been using different accounts for the book I publish. So I didn't know how to get in, but I figured it out. I figured eventually I'd speak to the head technician down there in Maryland. You know that brother who used to solve all my technical problems. How you doing, beautiful Sarita?
good. How are you? Welcome, welcome to the Rose Garden. I'm happy you're here.
I'm so glad to see both of you. I'm so excited, you know. I'm gonna fall back a little bit now that I got everything working. You know, one thing about your brother, he always maintains his coolness, even with me not being able to figure out. And I remember telling him, "How do you do this, Corelli? How we gonna die?" You know, I used to have jobs in New York on Wall Street with Michael Kors, with AT&T, you name it. 40 years of IT, and I met this young brother from Washington D.C. who came to go to DeVry in New Jersey. You know, that was 1998, which is now 27 years ago. And when they gave this brother to me, they said, "We want you, since you were a little older than him, only a couple of years older than, actually, I'm 65. We want you to be his mentor and just keep him out of trouble, you know, because the problem was he came in there looking real fly. He had on the Timbs, he had the baggy jeans, he had the leather. I remember he had this brown leather coat. And let me tell you, sis, I got a tell on it. All the women in the building lost their mind. They was like, "Who is that brother with you, Ed? Hey, Ed, can you introduce me to him?" I'm like, "What? This dude must be with like a big mogul or rap mogul or something." Let me tell you, they went crazy over him. So he sat down next to me. They loved him, you know?
Did he smile? We were just talking about we took pictures this weekend and he was so like I had to like massage the cheeks and be like, come on, smile. Like, so was he so were these chicks falling all over him and he got that stern looking face and the Tims?
Oh, he had to tend with that gangster face, man. I'm trying to tell you. Let me tell you this. I'm just gonna be honest. He knows I'm gonna be transparent with him today because I love him like a brother. And so they told me to mentor him. You know, make sure he stay out of trouble. I'm very smart. And I did my things. I had great mentors coming up. I took the arts and everything. And I went to ask him some problems that I couldn't solve. And he could answer them just like this. I mean, he was technically astute. I think he started messing around with technology when he was a baby, maybe when he was in his
Mhm.
mother's womb. So we had all these smart dudes in this top layer, these guys. We were the first center to use Tivoli, which was remote control of somebody's computer. That was 98. And the country. And we had 100 technicians. I'm talking about smart dudes. And after about 2 weeks, man, everybody was coming to me saying, "Yo, can you ask Quietly how to fix this?" I was like, "No, you
Mhm.
ask him yourself. You ask him yourself." But they were embarrassed because I think he was the youngest. And maybe it was another dude. I think he was the youngest in our center. At that time, he was, what, brother? What was you, 19 in 1998?
Yeah, something like that. I don't
What a
know.
wonderful
Something
way
like
to
that.
introduce yourself to this. So you knew him when he was I call him my tech royalty, but before he was tech royalty, you knew him when he was developing and budding. Thank you for coming to the Rose Garden. Let's we want to is I love the story about how y'all met because I didn't think I knew that, but I want to get to know you a little bit better and I want to hear more about your story because it's indeed captivating and what even brought you to the work that you do now. But I know that's not where you started. So take us back to the beginning of you.
Okay. So right now I'm on my seventh book. I've helped about 21 people write them. I believe history is most qualified to reward our research. And those who don't know the lesson of history end up repeating it. So I came from a family of 10, 5 boys, 5 brothers. My mother was from South Carolina. My father was from Virginia. So although I grew up in Jersey, I had a lot of that Southern flavor, you know, Mason Dixon line, whatever. And at a very young age, I got hit by a car when I was 6 years old. I almost died. I came down on the hood of the car, 8 feet, hit my head over, and I was in the hospital for a period of time. I can't remember how long it was, but when I got out, I was suffering from, you know, the anger of getting hit by a car. Then I'm in a cast from my chest all the way down my left leg, and it was just difficult. So, you know, kids tease you and stuff. After a while, after I got out the cast, I had my bones were kind of brittle, so I couldn't play football and stuff with the other kids for that period of time. But at one point, I had this bully that used to pick up on me, and that's my whole martial arts journey. He was a real muscular kid. You ever meet the little kid? Got a body like a man. I remember his name. And look, and this crazy thing, he's a light skinned brother, but he had green eyes, and the green eyes even made him look even meaner. Like like I'm gonna get you. And he used to beat me down. I gotta admit, I've never been defeated in the ring. Either I got disqualified or whatever, outpointed, but I've never gotten beat down. I thank God for that because we've been in the martial arts for 60 years. I mean, I've gotten beat downs, but I didn't get beat downs that disfigured my beauty, and I'm not being arrogant, but I'm in the family of quietly, and them some beautiful
It's
people
hard to be
down there,
around
man.
that,
That's
right?
right.
It's
And he got
hard to
them.
be around all that. The girls coming down the hall asking for his name number and his social security number. It's just hard.
And listen, you got all them fine sisters too. Your beautiful mother, your grandmother was beautiful. I never seen your dad, but I seen the family. You got a beautiful family, brother. And so I lie and tell people I'm related to him. He's my brother because I want to be in the beautiful family. But I think I want y'all to do your DNA because I always call him Iverson. And for some reason, when I get into him, I'll tell you about why I call him Iverson. Remind me to tell y'all that. But let me finish my little story. It only takes a couple minutes and I can tell you. So I end up taking martial arts, and my brother told me that this guy was going to beat me. I had brothers that if you lost the fight, you got to go back and keep fighting the same dude over and over again. So I said, I'm going to get him this first time. They took me in the backyard. They said, we want you to do this. We want you to do the robot. So at that time, I don't know if you know about Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It was a game. They
Hmm.
got plastic robots that go like this. So they told me when my man come out, start swinging at me, just start doing the robot. They acting like I'm crazy. So I was like, what's so crazy? It was a type of attack from a different angle that he had never experienced. And even though he was stronger than me, it kind of messed him up. He was like, oh, what's happening to me? He had to go on and regroup. But ever since that day, he never bothered. So I was isolating, and my brother Billy, who grew up, with the Panthers, and back in that time, he used to make me practice the first three katas of Taekwondo karate. And I still teach him to that day because they give you courage. It was the low block, the middle block, and the high block. I mean, he would make me do it over and over and over again. Kind of hard to hit a brother who knew how to block. And then he would make me do basic techniques. So by the time Bruce Lee came out with Kato and all the movies, after the movie, we having a tournament. We like, you killed my teacher. I'm gonna teach you the five deadly style. We was acting, but eventually I took up karate. That's how I met Oso. So I gotta tell the story. I hope people get mad at me. I met Oso. I was going in to see a movie, and it was a Sunday afternoon in the early '70s. And all of a sudden, at the front of the line, it was a ruckus, right? You know how we go to the movies, everybody else goes down. And all of a sudden, I seen this kind of looked like he was kind of short guy on the side. And I saw this big, tall dude trying to, like, I guess, push him and beef. You know how some people call a problem when they come to the party? All of a sudden, Oso went into a very low flowing, like, I'm telling you, I heard y'all talk about him last week. But y'all ain't going to his fighting. Listen, he went in a low stand. My man bum rushed him. He did a spinning hook kick. My man went straight down. It was like a movie. I'm in front of them. I must have been the closest. I'm like, is this really happening? I see another dude come out of here. He had an axe. No, he had a weapon, something like when you on a boat, that anchor that they have on a boat, like an anchor to a boat. And he wanted to
Yeah.
swing it. And I guess he saw also knock his friend down. He dropped that and he ran. We watched me and my friend and my cousin from the project. We watched. It was on a Sunday, and also was running a special at the School of Northern Shaolin Kung Fu and Tai Chi, 1974. And man, let me tell you about that.
Were there a lot of black kids in this, or who? Because
Yeah, It was predominantly at that time.
it
And we
was
had
okay.
we had a few different people from different persuasions, a couple Latin brothers. But I went up there. I expected also was going to be teaching me, right? Man, they had the finest sister in the world, right? I don't know if you know this, Sarita, but if you think of Oso, if you think of Quietly, and I now want you to think of me. Whenever you think of us, you're going to see some of the finest, most beautiful women. I think the Kung Fu brothers, for some of the reason for the chi or whatever chi called, we attract beautiful women. This sister became my teacher. Now imagine you learning from a beautiful star like Whitney Houston, whatever is your instructor. Also used reverse psychology on us. He dogged us, and I can say that. Every class was 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. I don't know how many hundred jack-ups. I remember, jumping jack. I can remember doing every kick 100 times. And then when Vita came out from Chicago to trainer, he was ridiculous because he was the first black family of Barnum and Bailey circus. He's he was the first black family that did acrobatic, and they used to train us, man. I can remember 4 hour classes, whatever, but it was the best time of my life. So her
So
name
wait,
was
what brought you, it seems like, to martial arts was a bully. And
Papa.
then you see this magical person who performs a move publicly that takes somebody down, and then you go to his class. So then when do you start to say that this is something that I'm going to master and be teaching myself?
Well, before that, I trained with the brothers. I'm not going to go into all this, but these brothers, I quietly know who they are. And they were very militant because at that time it was the Vietnam War. They were coming home in 74, 75. So I trained with two brothers who had Purple Hearts and bronze stars, and they were very military. So I learned the basics first. But then I met Osa when I went to that movie. I had heard about him, but I never went to his school. I was going to a little karate school. But then when I saw him do
Mhm.
it that night, that's when I switched from karate to kung fu. So my time says I started in '69, but I played around for a couple of years. But whenever you're in Osa's class, it's like it's no joke. I had to get serious. So that was '74. And after seeing him, I didn't know that he had won. At that time, he was like, I looked at a magazine, and that's how I found out. I was like, in the class, I think, and they said, I was like, yo, that's him, our teacher? Yo, he was preparing for this fight in New York. He had already won 100 championships. The crazy thing is that he was the only kung fu stylist, and everybody else was karate. So there was a lot of, just like football teams. I like the Jets, you like the Cowboys. A lot of that, you know, machismo that was against
Mhm.
him. So when he would fight, plus he had the funky uniforms like the ones he wear now, similar to that, and he had a bald head. Have you ever seen him with a bald head back then? And so everybody would come to beat him down, but they would be disappointed because he beat people down tremendously. And so when I met your brother, he put me into. I knew that he was from. That's why him and Oso is so close. He's from that DNA or either Iverson. See, Iverson. The way I look at Iverson, he was short compared to the big. I saw a thing the other day when he was dunking on Shaq. And back in the day, Shaq was like this big, intimidated, mean-looking player, and Iverson didn't even care. I remember him and Kobe was arguing, and Kobe had made some points, and Iverson and Kobe's arguing. He said, "Don't worry about it, bro. You come to Philly." That sound like a brother from Maryland or DC. That sound like your brother. That sound like your brother, because when we went to AT&T, all these dudes had all this higher education. Your brother hadn't even finished DeVry, and he was building systems for corporations. I remember the first time he told me how to take a PC apart and put it back together. When he was taking the parts out, I was like, "Whoa, whoa, don't do that! You're gonna break it, man! You're gonna break it!" He was like that. He said, "Sifu, I know how to put it back together." I was like, "Are you sure, man? Because I can't buy another. I can't be buying computers and you taking them apart." And then he's putting them together. Then he starts putting back the network that we got, the internet. That's called the WAN, wide area network. Most brothers, they don't show you. I'm being straight up with you. They don't go as high as your brother. But he know how to put it behind the scenes. Then he know how to plan it. Then he know how to do the architecture. So he comes from the same family. But anyway, after I met Oso, I started getting all these magazines. And then one was from Chuck Norris. I looked in his office one day and there's a picture and it said, to Tayari Cassell, a magnificent martial art signed by Chuck Norris. Then I'm like, on another magazine. He was on the cover, and then he started to be on all these covers. The bad thing is that he got invited to travel all over the world to fight for the Chuck Norris team. Then he became a magician in Las Vegas. I couldn't find him for years, so I switched over to another style of kung fu. After what I learned from also, I beat them down, and then I went to another school in New York, and I couldn't find him until I was maybe 20 something. And I found out he was in Washington D.C. With Grandmaster Dennis Brown School, and he was in Silver Springs.
So,
So
Sifu, you were telling us before though how you started to want to. So you started out with being with this bully. You saw this. So why did you continue and want to develop this for yourself to become a teacher and instructor like you are now?
so I say that martial arts saved me and a whole generation of brothers, the ones that you see on my page that celebrating 50 years, 40 years, even the other ones. It's a component in the art that is almost like a religion or like a medicine. Let me put it that way. A lot of people don't practice organized religion, but the principles of martial arts, you can apply to your life. And they're spiritual principles such as honesty, integrity, patience, tolerance, discipline. He used to have a thing on the wall called the Nine Dynamics, and another one. I can't remember all the stuff. I got a great memory, but what I saw in him, I didn't see in a preacher. What I saw in him at that time, I was young and rebellious, so you know how I felt about the preachers. But he was preaching a truth, which was integrity. Y'all want to be in this class? This ain't no boot camp, but you got to show and prove by your efforts, not the efforts of your mama, your daddy. They not doing the push-up for you. Ain't nobody can save. Basically, also was saying, ain't nobody can save in here. You have to show up for yourself. So it made you exercise willingness, effort, and work. You could apply it to your job. I applied Kung Fu as a way of life. It made me a better employee. It made me a better father. Matter of fact, it made me an incredible father, a phenomenal husband, incredible community leader, minister, all the stuff that I would want to be. It enhanced me. I'm not saying every martial artist is perfect, but what I saw in it, it was spiritual. Plus, the thing was protection. Now, when you look at the uniforms that these girls who I don't want to get into the P Diddy thing, but we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to. I heard Dave Chappelle tell a joke. He said something to a woman at a party, and she said, "What do you think I am?" He said, "Well, you got on the uniform. Your uniform shows that you are, and if you're walking around in a uniform like that, then you probably get men to treat you as if they were at, say, a strip club or whatever." And so, the decorum of the woman I grew around, my mother, my sisters, it was some miniskirt bras, but for the most part, it was respectful. But when it wasn't, you needed to be able to protect your girl. I remember I was in a talent show, and I was saying at the talent show, my girl and I had broken up, and there was a brother who was a bully. He was very well known. Everybody was afraid of him, and somehow he walks on the stage while she was modeling. He walks on the stage. I see him later that night. He keeps running these jokes. So I said, "Look, man, ain't nobody scared of you. I don't care." I was like, my heart was into this girl a lot. You could see. I was like, you ain't have no nerve. Why you threatening, man? That's my girl, That's my girl. And he ended up getting into a stance. He knew the art. And why did I get into a stance? I'm telling you, Quiley, I could see it like it was yesterday. I did this 3 times. That's why I don't like to fight a lot. I don't think I broke his jaw, but I know I hit him with a jumping forward roundhouse kick in his jaw, and I heard his jaw go. All of a sudden, he pulls out. He had on a vest and a jacket, like a suit jacket. He pulls out a razor. Now, this dude could run. That's why I say I didn't grab the razor. I didn't go, I didn't do this, something like this. When I pulled that razor, I was out. Zoom. I started running straight. My man
Was
pulled
that
the razor quietly. He got a razor in my ear. I got home. I know that both of us had probably been drinking too much old English 800 that evening. And when I woke up, my brother said that he was at the door. He wanted to talk to me. I said, all right, let me watch him though, see what's up with him. I came to the door, we talked out. He said, look, man, Eddie, I don't want no beef with your family, because I know your family is crazy. You got 4 brothers, and I got 4. Let's just chill. And I chilled. But that jump around house kick, there's a couple times that I hit jokers in the jaw with it. Couple jokers got hurt. And I'm not a violent person. I think people take martial arts for the wrong reasons. And sometimes they just want to harm someone. But I believe that it could be for healing. But as you were saying, what kept me going was there's more rewards. Then when I saw all the people who had taught me, they got bigger and better. They started helping the planet. They started doing these positive things. Some of them died, but I learned a lot of lessons from the martial art that I applied to my job, to my relationship, and it really has made me a different person. I know that I have been changed, you know?
Can you tell us more about your authorships? You said you've authored 7 books, so take us to the first one.
Okay, so this is going to be crazy, but the first one is no longer available. Quietly, you read that one, right?
This is the one that's called "They Must Have Wings."
Yes, sir.
That
Hey,
was the
hey, look
first
out.
one. Okay.
Grab my books real quick. And so what I wrote about was my spiritual advisor asked me to write about my life. So in my life, I had to practice this principle we call how it works: honesty, open mind, and willingness. So I was honest. I wrote about when my brother first died, the devastation that I felt, and the pain that I felt, and his wife, you know, having to live. He was only 30, was it 31? I was 28, and his son, who is now a grown man, the ones you showed me yesterday, all my books. You had him in a thing. Another chapter I wrote about that same girl. At that time,
You ain't lying.
hey,
She done made it in
Syretta,
a book.
Syretta, her name was similar to yours. The other part was Rita, but I won't say her name on this show because I don't want. This is this right here. This is They Must Have Win,
Okay.
right? And this is the young brother, but it was the first self-published book in my place where I live, New Jersey. People were like, how do you publish a book? How do you get this money to buy a book? I said, I was working with quietly. We made so much money off computers. I paid $4,000. I did it myself. You know,
So wait a
it was quiet.
minute. So your spiritual advisor said write a book about your life.
This is about 2 points in my life, which was when my brother died, when that
Mhm.
girl broke my heart,
Mhm.
and I wanted to take not one Coke 45 or one old, but I wanted to take about 100 of them. You know, that feeling when you have that
So
first headache.
that heartbreak made you want to cope in a way that wasn't positive.
That's how I got 30 years. I had to stop. And that's what, so this talks about all of that. There's a chapter that was very popular in here called The General. And the General was this evil force that made everybody get up late at night and march unwillingly, whether they wanted to march or not. You marching. The General. General says, look, put on your uniform. We're going to march. And you would go march. And you didn't know why you was marching, or you didn't know why you ended up in those places. But I had to purify myself from the history of it. So the best way to do it, I believe, is through therapy. I've been involved with therapy, and I'm a therapist myself. I've been in therapy with
So you
hundreds of.
started so after you were trying to cope with this breakup, did you start drinking heavily or did you not?
Yeah, because what
That's what
happened
he
is
was meaning by that general. But go ahead, brother.
I was trying to fulfill that void that me, this happened to me,
Mhm.
and she broke up with me. You know what I mean? Because I was a legend in my own mind. Most young men are at about that age. But I needed to be humbled to realize that I was just a regular guy like other people. So I wrote about her, and I called her Sahara Brown. I said she was hot as a desert, and she had me seeing mirages, right? Because at the same time, Jackie Brown came out. The movie Jackie Brown
Yeah,
and the Best
yeah. With
Man.
Foxy Brown.
And the Best Man came out at the same time. Please don't get mad at me, y'all. I don't have the book out no more. I'm just showing Sarita the book. But there's also a very difficult experience of my life where one of my homies did something that he should have never did because I come from a background that we got agreement with Slim that if you dealt with Tanya, then Wiley can't be never dealing with Tanya. That's the
So he
deal. Where
broke
I
the
thought,
man code. You wrote about somebody that broke the man code in the book.
well, yeah, I did, and it got real controversial between the general, between the man code, between my brother Don. It was so proud, so negative because it was just like this brother in this little area wrote this book. How could he do it? And it was a bestseller. So many people wanted it.
The martial arts gave you all this discipline. So what I'm hearing from you is in this time period there was a lot of dysregulation and lack of discipline.
No, there was just discipline in the martial arts, but life discipline is different. I don't care what belt you got. When a girl breaks your heart, or when somebody you love close to you dies, it can cause all type of extreme behaviors. The closest thing to me was alcohol. It was legal. You could buy it, and you can get a rum and coke at all times and never get pulled over. It's different with what they have now. The substances they have now can put you under the ground. But
Right.
I never had to do that. So, but
So
How did you stop?
how was you able to overcome all that though?
yeah,
What
that's what
was
I'm
your
about to
journey
say.
in terms of recovery?
So the thing was, after the Sahara Brown chapter, there's a chapter called Get to the Other Side. How did I get to the other side? Through spiritual principles. I studied and I got a master's degree in religious theology. So even though I practiced a different faith growing up, I still wanted to learn about all of them. So everyone you can name, for the most part, the major ones I've studied, or either I went to their services or I got involved. I did real research, not what somebody told me. And it came to me that the belief really is nothing that you say. You can read the Quran all you want. You can read the Bible, the Injil, the Torah. You can put on a Buddha uniform, a Taoist. You can be a Jehovah's Witness, but none of that counts. The only thing that is real religion or belief is governed by your actions and what you do. Because many people, I heard Jimmy Swaggart the other day, he just passed away. Yeah, got hooked up back in the day. He was the evangelist. He got hooked up. You remember Jimmy Swaggart? He got hooked up with these prostitutes, and he just I guess he liked prostitutes, but he also was a tele-evangelist. So if you look at his life, I don't judge him. I don't judge P Diddy or anybody who fallen prey, but the evidence of his actions is different than what he says. So I met this brother who became my spiritual advisor, and he taught me a lot of principles. And the most principles was he said you have to start making your words match your actions. You'll meet a lot of people, Sarita, I'm sure you and all of us have, who say something, but their actions are different than what they say. Plus, none of us is perfect, but you want to get to the point where at least most of what you say is mathematical. That's what they call true mathematics. It equals to what you say. If you're a father, you ever meet a dude hooked up with a lady, she got kids, she tells you he never pays child support, never does anything for the kids. He tells you he does everything for the kids. You start to see that two things don't match up. So I was blessed to have a mother who was real spiritual. My mother was one of the first African American preachers because at that time, at least here in Jersey, and I think all over the country, at least the African American church, didn't want women to be teaching like they are now. No, it was all men. It was very male dominated. And my mother was a revolutionary. So at 50, she went back to school, got her master's. My sisters got their master's. Everybody was educated in our household. And it was a high level of black woman like you, very well spoken. And so I always had that. That never left me. So my decisions that I made that were incorrect was on me. But blessed that I was able to hook myself up at 30 years old. I met my wife, Lena. We've been together 35 years. And having her, man, it really changed the trajectory. Because when you got a family, I guess you were married young. I don't know. I've heard you speak of your husband, and I think one of your children. I know Quietly, I was there. I remember Tasia when she was 6 months old. I remember I remember those early days, and now she's graduated. And so time matures you. So in these 27 years that I've met your brother, I have matured in many, many ways. And I consider myself, even though I look younger than my age, but I'm an OG. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't judge people by their age or say I know stuff better than them. If you hang around quietly, you'll see he has an old soul and a mind full of wisdom, but he's still open. So we learn from each other, but don't get it twisted. I've lived a long time, almost going on 7 decades. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I remember a lot of stuff. So hopefully, there are times that I've experienced things, I'll learn the lesson, of what I've seen, and then pass it on.
Are there
But
any
here,
moments that really stand out in your life that were really defining?
yes, but before you do that, let me just show you this. So this is the second book, Embrace the Energy Within, with me and Lena. That deals with the mindfulness, meditation, the Tai Chi, and everything. This book, Just Let Your Heart Fall, I wrote this book for my son when he turned 30. I wanted him to know about relationships, about work, about religion. He's been on his job 22 years. This is a workbook that has answers and questions about life. See, quietly, he messed with some high level brothers, including myself. Everybody's a thoroughbred that's around him, or they're in line to be a thoroughbred. And I spent time. I mean, I did workshops with women who were with sexual abuse. I did mentoring for people who had mental illnesses. So I had a lot of experience. And one thing that stands out of everything in my life was that there is hope. And if you get your hope to a level where it's just a little bit of hope, all you need is a piece, it can turn into faith. And they say faith can be as small as the grain of a mustard seed. You know how small a mustard seed is. And when you can get your faith as strong as a mustard seed, you can say kun fire kun, be and it is. Your faith can come into belief. And what belief is just like a table with four sticks under the table that give it references. Anything you believe in your heart, you can achieve. So you turn the hope into faith, the faith becomes belief, and then you can achieve it. But the belief can't just be in you. The egotistic belief will only take you to a certain level, or a belt will only take you to a certain belt. You know what I mean? But when they take off all the belts and they throw you in the ring, it's a different experience. Same thing with life. No matter what degrees you got, no matter what neighborhood you live in, no matter what car you drive, all of it is relative, because when all that's no longer yours, you'll see how you behave. Look at Elon Musk. They were talking about having all them big contracts, and when my man just said he might take them from him, Elon, so you could be on top one day. That's what taught me to humble yourself. And what the great teacher told us was, don't walk through the earth and don't equal yourself up to the mountain. Even though I think that I've done some great things, it's really just a small, minuscule amount to what all of us could do, you know?
Our time goes so quick in the Rose Garden. We had 45 minutes. Give us one lesson and then we're getting ready to play our game. Brother, did you bring the game this week or are you sticking to my games?
You can run the games.
I'm running the game. See, when I run the games, I don't get to play though. I heard you complaining about my games, but since I'm running it, I don't get to play. I'm the leader.
Well, all right. Well, so go ahead, brother. What you want to lead the people with in terms of
Man, I
grain of
hope it was.
wisdom?
I'm sorry I was late, but I'm going
It's
to have
okay.
to come back again because, Kwaeli has been promoted to one of the instructors in the Serenity Chi Challenge Circle organization. We have three different organizations. And the first one we started in 1980, the Asiatic Arts Club. The second one we started in 2007, 2003, which was the Shaolin Circle. And then the other one is the Serenity Chi. It's a group of martial artists who use martial arts education. We feed the hungry. We give clothes to those who need clothes. And then my brother in North is doing the housing. So we try to do
Is this
good things to
in
make the planet. Huh?
Is this in Jersey?
It's in New Jersey, but we got chapters in Atlanta, and now Quayle is going to be in the Maryland, the DMV area, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. So that's what he's going to do. Let me leave y'all with this, okay? So I wanted to do some physical stuff, and with my new book out, The Miracle of Black Seed, a lot of people are asking me about, the arts, and I had to take a break because of my knee operation. But what we're doing now, I've been doing it for 6 years, is we do this class while you're sitting in a chair. Well, very quickly, I just want to show you one of the exercises that we do that releases stress. So when you bring your hands up into a cross like this, you take your hands and you turn them over and you go up to the sky and you bring your hand, then you scoop like you're scooping up water from the stream. You bring it back up here. You're like crossing the meridian. And when the blood comes up all the way from your hands, it comes to your heart. Then you turn on the faucet and you breathe out. You release stress. So what you're doing is you're flushing the upper gate of the blood and the chi from your lungs through your brain. So you would do it like this. So that's just one. I got 100 of them. But if you do something like that, I think we need to move around more because a lot of times a lot of people are not moving. And even when you get up to my age, 65 and 55, there's people 40 that ain't moving. No, you don't have to
Mhm,
join the gym and run up and down no machine. Just do something easy and simple. So
mhm.
peace and blessing. Thank you.
No, we
Yeah,
appreciate you and
appreciate
thank you
that.
for that nuggets. Every time at the end of our sessions, we play a game. And it's a way for us to get to know each other better and really for me to diagnose. No, I'm teasing. For me to figure out how you all think. I last week I peppered my brother with questions and I think he liked it. He had to guess. It was kind of like the $10,000 pyramid where he had to guess the word. So, but this week we're gonna do something totally different because I read your bio. I was like, you know what? You all both have to pick your spirit animals. Y'all know what spirit animals are? What animal in the wilderness and wildlife that would represent you? And then you have to tell why you picked the animal. So I'm gonna let you go first since you're a guest on our show, and then, brother, I got to hear from you.
Oh wow. Well, you know, every man wants to be the tiger, but I leave that up to the tiger. I leave that up to the tiger, lions and bears. But I consider myself an eagle. And the reason why I was always attracted to the eagle styles or the bird styles. The crane, the eagle is more like a fluid animal that moves real graceful, whereas the tiger is very ruthless. So is the lion. My spirit is more like the eagle. A lot of times I've seen myself bowing and giving other people the opportunity, rather than it's about I've been around tiger personality. It is take over everything. Oh, the other thing is I know that if you rise above a higher level, no matter how much chicken stuff is on the roof, if you fly over it, you're not affected by it. But if you have to move out the way, you go through a lot of mess. So when you take yourself to a higher level or a higher vibration, a lot of the lower power, shaitan, Satan, whatever, it can't affect you. So I looked at myself as an eagle.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, that's a very good description right there.
Very good description. All right, brother. What's your spirit animal?
I guess I'm fluctuating mentally between two, but I'll just explain it. I'll talk through my thought process and then I'll pick one of them. But it's either the Black Panther or the lion, but they both got similar qualities. I think that number one, they both are they ain't pack animals. They more, by themselves in a way. But I mean, I just like how beautiful the Black Panther is. And like they say, the thing about the panther is, it's a strong beast. You know what I mean? It's a determined animal, but it doesn't really uh attack things unless it's threatened. It's a defensive minded animal. It's not an offensive animal. So that's what I like about the Black Panther. But it's also very very determined and very solid. And it does this by itself. It can survive completely by itself, which is admirable to me. But it's in terms of its skill, the panther can actually literally fish. You know how men got to fish with all kinds of apparatus and stuff like that. It could catch fish literally with its claws and jaws. You know what I mean? Which that's a tough feat, I feel. But I also like the lions too, because the male lions, but also female lions too. But I just feel like the lion is a very special animal to me because it's also, a male lion that has a pride is also a lone soldier. You know what I mean? But the fact that it has a pride itself means that it's accomplished a bunch of things. Number one thing is it had to it had to defeat another bona fide lion that had defeated another one before it. So, you know what I mean? But then it has a team around them. The pride itself is a team, mostly comprised of all females. You know what I mean? And it's
That a
offspring.
benefit to you?
Show you right. Show you right.
You don't need
So
no women. That's a distraction. You told
well,
me you were
I
focused.
feel like honestly, to be real with you, it's Sifu. You tell me if I'm wrong on this. I feel like for a man that's focused, most of the time, if you got a team of a lot of women around you, it's no wonder that even he was talking about Oso in the early days or whatever. See, he had an instructor that was female, but when you got a female based team around you, you got a serious operation.
Oh
Because it
yes.
seemed to me like, yeah, females really be getting down with you on stuff. Males might sometimes be competitive. So
That's interesting wisdom.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it ain't just all about this.
I got to measure in on that one because at my age, most of the people around me is all women. I might have one or two males, but them is the ones who support. Them is the ones who don't cop short. Them are the ones who pay for their lessons. Those are the ones who believe. I'm not saying men don't, but it's always naturally the competitive thing comes in, and I'm tired of that. So that I don't even
Yeah,
invite.
exactly.
There's a lot of men that want to be my friends on Facebook. I'm like, no, I don't really want men. Why would I want to be friends with a lot of damn men? It's just different. I think it's different. That's
I
called the
totally agree.
quiet. That's called the Quietly effect. No, that's called the Xadean effect.
Well, it
Yeah,
seems
so I
like
go with the line on that.
you going with the line on that. It seems like that's where you get your heart. Well, I appreciate both of you for always humoring me with my getting to know you games. And I am so glad that you joined us in the Rose Garden, even though we sadly had technical difficulties. We learned so much from your experience and how open you were to sharing. Is there a final book? Did you get it through all your books? Because you said you just wrote
Hey,
your final.
Lena, give me the Black Seed book. No, the
Yes,
most important one now. I'm gonna share this for
yes.
the first time. In 1992, I was at a meeting, and it was these brothers. And I can't say everything, but just try to read between the lines. They suffered from their immune system being compromised. You feel me?
Mhm.
And they started taking the black seed oil back then. It was black seed and garlic. And a few of them
Mm,
that I know, they reversed their condition. Now they got medicines that will help right through here, might be some that will help heal you. But I decided to write my experiences over the years. I had studied herbs for a long time, but it wasn't until a few years ago that my daughter gave me black seed for my birthday. She said, Dad, I got you something. You don't know what it is. I like, what is it? She was using it for her hair. And my wife, you got to see Lena's hair. She's been using it for her hair. But they say it will reverse. Well, they say that the Quran says that black seed will cure anything except death. All I can say is
Mm.
that's the book. I made it at the lowest price possible. That it wasn't even about money. I just know that some people think they're at the end of the road with a lot of these medications. I don't know if you know that soursop, they're using that instead of the chemo. They're using a lot of sea moss. And I learned all of this from Master Bakari, who grew up in Jamaica. And he has an organic, like farm out there. And he taught me over the last 20 years how to make a lot of these formulas. And he would actually get on the phone and show me. Actually, here's this book, The Miracle of Black Seed Oil. And it goes
okay.
into that. It's pretty heavy. So I want everybody to get that. I'm going to continue for them to have that. The other books are fine, but it could possibly save your life. I know a brother who was almost out of here, actually two of them, who was out of here, basically. And he started taking the black seed. He swears by it. So, you know.
So where
And,
you get the book on Amazon?
the book is available on Amazon in four formats: hardcover, $16.95, a paperback, $10, and also Kindle for the people who want electronic them. But I don't particularly tell everybody to go to Amazon because Amazon is a wonderful place, but they'll never pay me. So I'll never get.
Where would you
So
like us to go?
come directly to me. I accept Cash App. I accept all the stuff everybody else accepts. Because I had books on Amazon for a long time. I don't know where the money's going, but I haven't certainly received it. So
So
I'm
so
gonna
Yeah, yeah,
make sure we have your information so we can tag you and put it in the recap of this. We are here every Thursday at 2 o'clock. We are thankful that you all joined us in the Rose Garden. Brother, any final words before we go?
I just
no,
want to
thank,
thank everybody who's. Go ahead, brother. You go ahead and
thank you,
say what's on your
Syretta.
mind.
You're so beautiful and you're such a professional. I've been telling Bradley for weeks they're gonna get you to take over Gail's place for CBS News. You're so intelligent and you just amazing commentator. And thank
Well,
you, my
thank you.
brother, for inviting me. I'm really
I
glad.
don't know that
Man, I
Gail is. I
appreciate you
think
as
that
well.
Gail's job is up for grabs, and I'm certainly not media trained. This has just been fun for me and my brother, and I appreciate the wonderful content. And thank you for sharing your story here with us in the Rose Garden, brother. I always love learning from you, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Any parting words before we see each other
Yeah,
later?
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out and spending some time with us and listening to Sifu Ed's story. And I hope that they found some good value and some enlightenment in his journey. And go out and get his book and also like, share, and comment and keep engagement with us so we can get motivation to keep this thing going.
Absolutely. We'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
All right. Bye for now.